Behind the Shades.
Well, and I live in a small town here in Texas, East Texas, and I met Kirk Cameron, and he talked me into writing a story in my book after sharing with him that I had a terminal illness, and that terminal illness being MSA, which is a very rare condition. Only one out of every 25,000 people in the U.S. are diagnosed with it, so it's not very well known at all. And what it does is it shuts down your autonomic functions, your respiratory, circulatory, all those sorts of things that your brain doesn't have to, that you don't have to do, your brain does on its own. And so I'm now to the point where I do have trouble with breathing sometimes. And my digestive system is slowing down, and my circulatory system is kind of off. But blood pressure usually when I go to the doctor is either non-existent, they can't get one, or it's like 65 over 52. So it's very low. And but I'm gonna keep fighting on. Um, I'm strong. God made me strong enough to make it through this. That's what I believe, because He wanted me to share this story. And He's not done with me yet. He has me doing some more work, and He wants me to share too. So I'm gonna get that started before I leave out of this world and go to my new Lord, my new world.
Sometimes I wonder when I hear your story, I wonder how many people are actually prepared to transition over, or how many people are actually told, like in your situation, right? Where you're told that this is how many weeks, months, or even maybe years in some cases that you have. Are you at the point now where you feel complete? Well, let's not use the word complete. Do you feel now that you're at one with your journey because you know it's the right path for you, as you put that God put you on this path?
I am, Trent, I'm having some doors that I've seen open since I've um, published my book, and like my molesters being indicted for sexual misconduct on some charges. Um, my son, who has never been stationed close to home since he joined the Air Force, is actually being transferred to an hour and a half away from home. So that's coming up recent. I just found that news out recent. And my daughter, who I think is going to have the hardest difficulty with you know, me leaving or me going home, her best friend is moving from New York, so she's going to have her support as well. And then, of course, my husband now will be support with the kids as well. But it's just like everything's lining up, it's like everything's getting ready.
For me, I've had some health issues in my family within the last year and a half, and it's not an easy conversation to have, and it's not an easy conversation to hear. And at times, it's not an easy conversation to even share, because what I found in my experience is that sometimes when you go to someone for help, they actually make you feel worse.
Mm.
Um, so for you, where you are as of right now, because I know you mentioned the last time we spoke, which wasn't that long ago, you said that your health has um, been going downhill a bit.
Yeah,
Right?
when I talked last time, I was able to walk some without somebody helping me. Now I can't walk by myself at all. I have to have somebody help me all the time. I really can't walk. They basically kick my legs to get, move them, or I go in a wheelchair. Um, so that's been one decrease in health. The other one is my urinary tract has completely shut down.
What does that so what does that look like for you day to day now with all this that has happened since we last spoke?
I can see the time's coming quicker. It's not going to be long. But I did first think I wasn't going to be here till the end of the year before the holidays. But he opened my eyes to this new book, and now I know that he's giving me a little bit more time because he's giving me another job to do before I go. So I still have the feeling in my heart that it will be shortly after 2023.
And tell us a little bit about this book, because this is something that could be a lasting legacy for
Yes.
you. It can be your final message to basically the world. So tell us a little bit about that and how much of yourself now you are putting into into this book, knowing what you know.
It's going to be called Beyond Heaven's Gates, and since this book has been published and I've been talking about it, I've been getting visions and dreams of heaven. And it's like every night that I have another one, it picks up right where the other one left off. So I feel like it's really real. I mean, it is so vivid to be there. And I don't want to leave sometimes when I'm there, it's because it's undescribable beauty. I talk about the gates, and they're going to be actually on the cover of the book. They're such beautiful gates with gold and diamonds all over them. And then I think listeners and viewers will understand this question. Have you ever found something that you thought, I know I've been looking for that, but I thought I've lost it forever, and it just shows up, and you've already looked in that place and it wasn't there? Or something from years ago just shows up one day and you're like, wow, where did that come from? Someone was thinking about you and they brought it down to you. It was in a dream. I had a dream about that. I came down to earth with someone from heaven and was leaving somebody something. So I've been telling some of my really closest friends, I'm gonna be here. You just wait. I'm gonna leave. Well, I'm telling what I'm gonna leave it, and they go, "Where are you gonna leave it?" Tell them where I'm gonna leave it. So watch out. I'll be back. But no,
Yes.
it's just I want people to know, and I think God does too, because there's just so much doubt on the earth nowadays about everlasting life and God. And that's what this book is about. And once I'm done with the visions, I pick up an unexpected moments continues, just going along with the journey that I've had since this book was published.
There are some times where I will close my eyes and I will just have this dream or this vision of a place that you can't really describe it, but you know that it's so welcoming, similar to what you shared with us right now. And it feels so amazing. Like you have this overwhelming happiness which just covers you like that blanket from your childhood. It keeps you safe, it keeps you warm. And when you share that right now, it brought me back to that. I remember my grandmother used to tell me that I used to walk everywhere, outside, through the house, in the park, with this blanket as a child. And I wonder how much of us growing up, or even in our adulthood, where we look at something and it just takes us back to a safe place, or when we know that we are marching towards, um, we're marching in our life towards a higher calling. I wonder how much of us remember that safety, that happiness, that security of
Mm-hmm.
that. And when you shared that story, it immediately brought me back to that. And when you have these visions, Daisy, is that the same sense of happiness and warmth and security that you get as well?
It's exactly that feeling. I know, like, my second one was, and I call it in my book a homecoming feast. This table, it's as long as you can see. I mean, you can't see the end of the table. And I sit at the head of the table. My mother sits at one side, my father at the other. And it goes to generation by generation after that. And then it's covered in all the food you can imagine, all your favorite foods. And you can eat and eat and eat. You never get stuffed feeling. It's just a pleasure kind of eating, just so you can taste the food. And my grandmother, she's there, and I have her homemade chocolate pies, and it's just amazing.
Does it take you back to a different point in your life where you have all these beautiful, caring, and lovely people with you?
It does. You feel just you're at home, It's actually no easy way to describe it, really. I mean, other than it's beautiful, the golden shores are there and they're beautiful. I've seen them. I walked this garden that was really, this is really one of the neatest ones. It's a golden path. It's this beautiful garden. I can't describe it. But I get to the end, on this sandy shore, and I look to my left, and I see a profile of what I know is Jesus, and he's sitting under a tree on a big boulder, and there's all these little children sitting on little boulders by him, and he's reading a book to them. And I try to go over there so I can sit on the boulder and listen, but I run into this like invisible veil, like I can't go any further. So I turn around and I go the other direction. And I look out and I see my grandmother and my grandfather and my dad and my mom and a couple of other family members fishing out there in these beautiful waters. And I'm yelling out to them, and none of them can hear me. So I just thought, well, I guess I have to turn around and go back then. So I walked back down that golden path and ended up in my bedroom again.
With that said, is there any preparation that you have done during this year that maybe you believe can help others who are going through something similar themselves, or maybe they have a family member that is going through something and they want to help prepare everyone that's involved?
Yeah, you just pray. He answers our prayers, but I prayed a lot more. I pray more, and sometimes I just lay there and have a conversation with him. But if you pray for someone's healing, you're going to get your answer. It just may not be the healing that you want. It would be the healing that he gives them eternal life and eternal health. So just because someone dies that you pray for their health, don't think God didn't answer your prayers, because he did exactly that.
For me, I always looked at when someone passes, they go from existing in the physical sense, let's say you and I right now, where we can see, where we can touch, where we can do all these things. They go from that to existing in the more so the spiritual sense, more in our minds, where they're still around and with us. We may not be able to physically touch them, but we can still feel their presence. We can still see their influence. So for me, it's not necessarily like a grieving period when someone passes. It's more of a celebration because they're going from existing in one state, like here, and now they're existing in another state. And that's what helps to keep me grounded and to understand the grieving period, because it can be a difficult time for everyone around. Is this something that maybe you have had that type of conversation with your
Yeah,
family members?
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because yes, I have been kind of planning out what I'm going to call celebration of life. Picked out songs and some pictures, and me and my daughter, we've talked more about it. But I've given her a list of who I want her to call or email, and I told her to take my phone when I'm gone so she can have access to anything she needs to reach out to everybody. But so yeah, I told her I don't want it to be. I know you're gonna be sad, but I want you to also be happy. No more pain. No more I can't walk. I'm gonna be able to run again, do things like that. So call this is my celebration of life. Now I have a new life. So celebrate that life with me.
And then part of that new life is going to be this book where you're going to leave it with the world. So take us through the process now that you're nearing completion of it. What is left, if anything, and what type of impact do you want this to have going forward?
Well, moving forward, I just want like unexpected moments, you know, to inspire people to know that God's always with you, no matter what you're going through. He don't put you through more than you can handle. As long as you have that faith. And then beyond heaven's gates, it's just the same. It's kind of in the same sense, have faith that there is another place, there is another world, and I believe that He wants me to share what that world is and what it's about. So the world, we're losing God in this world every day, more and more so. And He wants me to try to help put Him back in this world and help people believe that there's eternal life after this. I believe it, and I want to inspire other people to believe it too. That's what my goal is. And I know that these podcasts will be around forever, as well as these books, so I can continue to motivate and inspire others. And that's a big goal that I want to, hit. That's number one. Number two, I want to create awareness of this rare disorder because I want them to be able to find a cure someday for those that are suffering with it. I know it's not going to be in my time because I'm not eligible for clinical trials anymore because I'm past a certain phase, but there's more people out there that have it and they're suffering from it. And November 19th, I'm gonna be on Stories That Inspire Us with Janice, and we're gonna have a live Daisy Fun. We're hoping to get some caretakers of people with MSA and some MSA patients just to talk about their experiences. We have the director of the MSA Alliance. He's going to be on there and she's going to interview him, helping to, not only create awareness, but helping to get some more donations in for them to be able to research it better and find that cure that we need.